Hey guys, so I'm super ecstatic to hear that Ford is showing off the pricing of the new F-150 Lightning. Lightning. Um, they kind of did this through a survey system. Like, a lot of the reservation holders got a survey in the email and was like, hey, if you were to pre-order this Lightning right now, what's the options you would take with these types of prices? So with that in mind, a lot of F-150 owners are extremely excited because we finally get the actual pricing with the different trim levels and then the different options we want. And there was a lot of options, as you could clearly see right here. But I'm going to go over everything that's very top level. I'm not going to get into too much of the nitty and gritty, but I just have a few notes as well in order to follow along with this. So as you can see, I'm going to go over the F-150 Lightning pricing first. And then I also did a little bit of a comparison with the closest competitors, with the Cybertruck and then the Rivian. I felt like those were basically, they're in line to get delivered to the customers soonest compared with the Lightning. So there was a bunch of other ones as well, but they're kind of hit or miss, especially like the different work trucks and like Workhorse, for example. So let's get into it. First, I want to go over a couple notes. So the Ford and the Rivian still get the $7,500 federal tax credit. They didn't hit their limit yet, especially Rivian without selling a single vehicle. Of course, they're not going to hit the limit yet. So Ford is getting closer, and especially with the Lightning, it's going to be kind of the same thing as the Model 3 with the Tesla. So as soon as the Model 3 came out, so many reservation holders got their vehicles, and this tax credit went away pretty quick. But with the Lightning, currently, you can still do it. You can still get it. I got it for my mach-e, but also they sold, I think, 60,000 total EVs. Ford did. So they're still far away from the 200,000. I think it's 200,000 is the maximum for the federal tax. So with Ford and Rivian, you're still going to get it, which is great. Another side note is Blue Cruise is coming out very shortly for Ford, and basically it's not full self-driving, but it's like right now I have Copilot 360 in the mach-e, so I can initiate that, change lanes, all that kind of stuff, and it drives by itself. I can't go on different streets, like side streets, and tell it like, hey, I want to go to the right, and it'll actually drive like that. That's more full self-driving. This one is basically just highways and kind of like side streets. As long as you're following somebody, it'll keep the distance, it'll stop for you, it'll go on the highway, etc., stuff like that. But with Blue Cruise, you don't need your hands on the steering wheel. There's actually a sensor in front of the steering wheel that keeps track of your eyes. As long as you're paying attention to the road, you're not going to need to keep your hand on the steering wheel, which is actually really nice. I don't use Blue Cruise. It's not out yet. But I use Copilot every single day. I put thousands of miles on it at highway speeds going like 80 to 95 miles an hour. Especially in Colorado, we have a lot of interstates. And it works great. I love it. But the only issue I have is every 15 seconds, if you don't have your hand on the steering wheel, it beeps at you. It's really annoying. But with Blue Cruise, that's going away. So, but for layman's terms, I'm just going to say Blue Cruise is pretty close to Tesla's autopilot system, like full self-driving. Full self-driving is not out yet. It has way more features than the Blue Cruise, but Ford's making the same steps as Tesla is. Tesla's absolutely going to beat them to the market first. But for layman's terms for this presentation, Blue Cruise, I'm just going to say, is equal to full self-driving because of the cost. So I'm going to get into this really quick. So for the first trim on the Lightning is the Pro. So the Pro is estimated EPA estimate of 230 miles. Another note I want to say is Ford is extremely conservative when it comes to mileage and range. For my mach-e, they estimate EPA at 270. I'm hitting 300, 350 on a regular basis at 100% charge. So they're really off. Like, they're very, very conservative, and Ford wanted to do that in the beginning. So it makes sense they're gonna do this for this as well. So there is, at first, I wasn't sure if I should put the EPA on here, but anyways, with the Lightning, it's estimated, EPA estimate is 300 miles and an extended range battery. That's what they're targeting. There is enough evidence out there that we've seen Lightnings in the wild, and they're showing 470 miles on a full range. Well, Ford is being very hush-hush with this, but also showing little snippets here and there that, yeah, it might hit 470, wink, wink, whatever. So we're going to just go with that for right now, because Ford has said that the extended range is rated at 300 miles. The standard pack is 230. And they always said that range estimate is with 1,000 pounds in the bed of the truck. So with that amount of weight, you're still expected to hit 300 miles, which is pretty phenomenal. So hitting 470 with no weight, besides the driver, is pretty realistic, especially with the mach-e. Like I said, with me just in the car, I'm hitting almost like 350 miles on my battery. So getting that, big enough percentage increase is actually pretty realistic for the Lightning. So we're going to go with it, just for layman's terms in comparison. So Pro is rated at 230, but with what we're seeing in the wild, we're seeing up to 350 miles with absolutely no payload, just the driver. So, and it's going to start at $40,000 approximately. And then the monthly payment, just to go off of like kind of perfect credits and some average percentages, we're going to just estimate at 3% interest for a 6-year loan, so 72 months, pretty typical in the automotive world. And then we're going to just do a 5% sales tax. This is very generic. It is going to be way different compared to every state, because Colorado, for example, is 2.9% sales tax for state tax. County is kind of different. So we're just going to go with those just so you can get a general ballpark. So the Pro for this is only going to be for businesses that they're going to sell. So the estimate is about $638 per month. Now the XLT is when consumers can start buying. The XLT base, without any funny good stuff, is going to be $53,000, which is about $845 per month. And then again, you're going to get about that 230 EPA, or about 350 in the wild estimate. And then once we kind of go from the XLT, we got this finally the premium package, which comes with the Blue Cruise. Premium package gives you the premium interior, the nice interior, all the gadgets, and 15-inch touchscreen, which is absolutely phenomenal. It's well worth the cost. Plus, it's going to give you the extended range battery. So you're going to get that huge increase in range. So you can get the XLT with the premium Blue Cruise for $57,000. It's just a little bit of an increase over the XLT. And then you're going to get it approximately 300 to 460 miles of range for about $900 a month. And this is kind of the sweet spot that I personally feel that a lot of people are going to get sold on. Just because that from the base XLT that you get, like I believe it's the 8 or 10-inch touchscreen, and you get the cloth interior, not too much, no bells and whistles like the Blue Cruise, none of that stuff. And then you get the standard range battery. For 53, you could just jump up a little bit extra and you get so much more. So I feel like this is going to be their hot selling point. And $906 a month sounds like a lot of money. Now, EV owners, just like me, fully understand this is not actually a lot of money. Bear with me. I know 900 still is, wow, that's crazy. But the F-150, for my example, I bought a 2018 F-150 STX 4x4 with a decent amount of the nice interior, stuff like that. And I was paying about $500 a month for my payment. And I was paying $400 a month, because I drive a lot, for gasoline. So off the bat, just for payment and gasoline, I'm spending $900 a month. And then I also had maintenance, so it was a newish truck, so it might be like $50 a month if you average it out over, the year. So you're spending basically $900 a month for a base truck that'll get the work done. Now, after 6 years, when I would have paid off that F-150, I would have no payment, so it'd save me $500 a month, but I'd still have gasoline, and maintenance would increase year over year. So with the gasoline, yeah, it could vary. Like I've seen as low as like $250 a month when I had it to close to 400 like currently when I finally got rid of it. So you still have that gasoline and maintenance cost when you pay off the vehicle, so after 6 years. Now with EVs, it's totally opposite. You pay that $900 a month for 6 years, for example. After that 6 years is paid off, you're going to be spending just electricity costs and then whatever maintenance. And if you follow my other videos, maintenance on EVs is extremely, extremely cheap. So for my mach-e, I do a lot of miles per year, and after 6 years, it cost me $60 for maintenance. Basically, it just needs tire rotations and the cabin air filter. That's it. Nothing else until you get about 150,000 miles. Then you got to change the battery coolant, which is pretty standard on every vehicle. You have to change the engine coolant anyway. So after 6 years owning this Lightning, especially if you're a business owner, you're looking at monthly costs of $50. It's amazing. It's going to be, this is big in our world right now because of that exact reason. A lot of companies are like, hey, I'm spending all this money for 6 years, and after 6 years, still have maintenance, still have gasoline costs. Then gasoline costs you can't change, you can't control, any of that stuff. Well, with EVs, you finally have the control in your hand. And this is where a lot of customers, companies are going to be very, very happy, and they're very excited with the Cybertruck coming out and the Lightning, and Rivian in a slightly different category, but still a truck. I'll talk about that later. So after the XLT, you got the Lariat, and based on the forms of the F-150 Lightning, these two are where most of the EV owners are going to be buying their cars or buying their trucks, just because they are well aware of the EV market. They own their own EVs. They fully understand this cost that's associated with it, and they see the benefit of it as well, especially when it comes to longevity and all that. And Lariat, you're going to get the really nice premium interior, exterior, all the accents, all the bells and whistles. So it's really going to be the best value for current EV owners. With the Lariat, you got the standard stock one. It starts at $67,000, which is approximately $1,076 per month. That's a steep bill, but again, like I said with the XLT, after you pay it off, that bill goes away completely. So after the Lariat, then you can, it's pretty steep incline, but for $12,000 extra, you can get the premium package with the Blue Cruise. Now, on the forums, I am seeing a whole lot of people. There's a lot of polls out there. A lot of people are picking this one. This is their absolute favorite. And I think it's just because you get so many bells and whistles that are pretty close to the Platinum, which is top of the line kind of trim. But you're not paying this incredibly high price tag. So you're still getting all of this stuff, and you're getting such a premium truck. And $80,000 for truck owners, surprisingly, this is for me. I'd have a heart attack if I paid that. But a lot of truck owners are like, yep, take my money. I saw on the forums that somebody was signing a Platinum for $80,000. They're like, yeah, my bill is $1,300 a month, and they still have gas to pay for, maintenance, all this stuff. And I'm like, that is a lot of money, but it's what they want to pay for. So I don't know. I always need to see value in things. Me personally, I would stick around this range because I need to get my money back after the 6 years instead of paying more money into it. It's just the way I think, at least. So the Lariat, you're going to start at, like I said, $79,000. And then you're going to get that 300-mile EPA range or 460-mile in the wild range. So, and then finally, for all the super wealthy business owners, you got the Platinum, which is every single bell and whistle you could ever have in a truck with the massaging seats. You basically live in your truck, which is no problem at all. You're going to be paying the $90,000, which is about $1,434 per month, which is, I can't even think about ever spending that amount of money on a vehicle. But you know what? People are going to pay for it. I've seen a lot of business owners on the forums are like, I am definitely paying that in cash. And I'm like, how do you have that cash? But whatever. So now we're going to kind of get into the comparison. So when I first saw this, I reserved the truck and I wanted a Lariat. I 100% wanted a Lariat with the extended range. Lariat gives you decent amount of features, leather seats and all that stuff. A lot of accommodations like the 15-inch touchscreen. I don't need the Platinum. And then usually Lariat for a stock F-150 would be like $50,000 to $60,000. And I saw the most value in that. Like, you love your truck, you could probably live in it a little bit. You're getting your money's worth, I think. XLT, you're kind of losing the luxury, but it's still a good price point. So I wanted to know the pricing, and when I reserved the F-150, they didn't show any pricing. They just said, hey, Pro's gonna start at $40,000, and then the Platinum's gonna go to $90,000. So in my mind, I was like, if I like kind of split it into sections like Pro, XLT, Lariat, Platinum, maybe I'm gonna be around the $70,000 mark. Well, it's actually kind of true. So finally, once they debuted the pricing, I was pretty excited. Because the Lariat was just about $3,000 off of what I was expecting. So with that, I was kind of worried that it wasn't very competitive with the competition. Immediately, I have a reservation for the Cybertruck. I reserved it because I was obsessed with my F-150 when I had it. I hated paying for gas, obviously $400 a month, and I hated kind of doing the maintenance too. I was excited at the beginning, but after 60,000 miles, I was like, I'm tired of doing oil changes. And I don't trust dealerships, plain and simple, to do it. Got burned too many times on tire rotations and stuff like that I'm just like, I might as well do it myself. So I reserved the Cybertruck too, and I saw these pricings of the Cybertruck, and I reserved the dual all-wheel drive. But once I got wind of the F-150 Lightning and I actually made this table, it was actually a lot more competitive than I thought. I thought the Lightning was way too expensive compared to with the Cybertruck. But now I can see it's actually pretty competitive. So as you can see, the Cybertruck starts at about 40. And the Pro starts at about 40. So you're going to have the same monthly payment. Tesla is saying EPA-wise, they're looking at about 250 miles. Now the Pro EPA is saying 230, and in the wild, we're seeing about plus 300 plus. So they're about the same range, same truck. So we're seeing about the same range, same type of truck. Just for layman's terms too, this one I see as more of a heavy duty truck just because their payload is like 3,500 pounds, which is ridiculous. This one, the payload is a lot lower. I think it's 1,300, like significantly lower. I have no idea, besides the airbag suspension, how they're gonna have that much weight in the bed. I don't know. But ride quality, I think, is gonna have to, I don't know, different story. But with the 40,000, it's pretty competitive. Now, once you get into XLT starts about 53,000, and then the dual starts at $50,000. So again, really competitive. And the XLT, again, it's going to be 230 miles EPA, about 350 in the wild. And the Cybertruck, they're estimating about 300 miles as well. So very, very competitive again. Now, what changes is once we get into this full self-driving, so to tack on Blue Cruise and the Premium, a long range, is going to be extra money. And then full self-driving, currently right now, is $10,000. And I reserved it for my Cybertruck as well. So with the dual all-wheel drive plus the full self-driving, you're at about a $60,000 range. So with the XLT, with the really nice interior and the kind of full self-driving sorta Blue Cruise, like you don't need your hands on the steering wheel, you're looking at about same price point, $57,000. So looking into that, most people can, I would assume, look into this range just because of the monthly payment. A lot of people, I think the average auto loan is $535 per month. And if you do an average of about $200 of gasoline per month and maybe $50 of maintenance, you're looking at, close to $700, let's just say $700-800. So even in this price range, it's really, you're not far off. And like I said, after you pay it off, that gasoline goes away. So I think a lot of people are really going to be looking at this type of range for both Cybertruck and the Lightning. And then once you kind of get higher into the trims, especially with the Cybertruck, prices start to increase. Lariat, which is what I want, about $70,000 for both that and the Cybertruck. You don't get the full self-driving, but in the Lariat, you don't either. So, and then you're going to get starting with the higher range. So Cybertruck is estimated to, they're pushing for 500 miles range, which is probably with the new battery pack, the 4680 cells. And you're looking at about the same price range. Now, once you get into Lariat Premium plus Blue Cruise, again, this is where like EV owners, they see the value in this pricing for per month. And if you go with the tri-motor with the full self-driving, you're looking at about $80,000, and the Lariat, again, $80,000. After that, it breaks off. You can't go any more luxurious with the Cybertruck, or you can't even increase the price even more for right now, because we don't know the extras. Right now, Tesla kind of does an a la carte option where it's like, hey, you get the tri-motor all-wheel drive with the full self-driving, but extra for different rims. They might be doing different tires now that it's a truck. They might be doing a little like different things, like white trim might be more expensive than black trim, or sorry, interior color, stuff like that. So the price might increase a little bit, but with the Lariat, it's pretty stocky. You're going to just be paying $80,000. You're going to get the top line, whatever. Extras, even for my mach-e, were like very, very, very minimal. Basically, the only extra cost that I paid for, because you can pick your rims and everything like that, no extra cost, but I paid extra for like floor mats. So that was about it. After that, like I said, you're going to just get into the Platinum, which is $90,000, and that's going to be every single little teeny detail that every truck owner wants. For a very platinum price. And then again, coming to the Rivian. So the Rivian is more of a Ford Ranger, Chevy Colorado, GMC Canyon type size truck. Doesn't have the full bed. These two are going to have, I think, the 5.5, 6 foot bed. This one's at a 4.5 foot, so it's a lot smaller. This is very, very, very outdoorsy truck. If you are an outdoorsy person, like in Colorado, like me, you'd buy this. You'd pay the premium price because it is meant to go off-road. These ones are going to work nonstop for that commercial business owner, for that person that just needs a good looking truck, that one maybe. Even me, I'm a big Tesla fan. That was really, really disappointing to see. It's growing on me a little bit. It's still very disappointing. I love the look of a standard truck already. This one just seems like a very Honda Ridgeline, like the older version, especially with the sloping rear ends. Not a big fan of it. It's growing on me, but for right now, I think, honestly, I think the F-150 looks the best just because it's so close to a modern truck, and I'm so used to that, and I think all these truck owners are used to it. This is out of this world. Like Tesla, they always like to do that stuff. And then Rivian, I think it looks sharp. It's just, they're doing more capability than practicality, I guess, as far as the bed size go and stuff like that. But you know what? If you want to compare it to the Lightning, we got to get pretty far down. They're pretty expensive for an outdoorsy company. They have the Explorer and the Adventure. They have two battery sizes, a 300 mile and 400 mile battery range, I should say. And it starts basically at the Lariat price. So we got $67,500 up to $73,000, depending on the battery that you guys choose. We are getting 300 miles, and you can see it's about $1,000 to $1,200 per month. And then if you want the top of the line R1T, you're going to need to go with the Explorer Adventure with the max battery package, and you're going to get the 400 miles EPA estimate, and that's going to bring it to $1,200 to about $1,350 per month. And again, it's just really what your forte is. If you want max capacity, max range with that supercharger network, Cybertruck. If you're okay with the looks, Elon's been tweeting a lot about the looks, saying like it might be a massive, like it might not be as popular as people think. I don't know. I think it's going to be popular. It's very unique, but it's going to be hard to get past these looks. But the capability is absolutely there. That's exactly why I reserved it. That capability is what I want. So, so with the F-150 and the pricing being so competitive, and you got this beautiful look, if you're into that traditional truck look, this thing is going to be for, I think, most of the truck owners that want to get into EV. I strongly believe they're going to be doing this one. Another reason too is this Pro. A lot of companies are going to be buying up these trucks. I strongly feel like crazy, just because, not to get too far into it, but I know a few owners that have like a trucking business that do like a lot of service, and they're really looking forward to this just because they have the dealership network. And you know, commercial trucks get beat up nonstop. And they want to know that they can go 5 minutes down the road to a dealership, and that's just their forte. I'm not going to get into like dealership not knowing about EVs, stuff like that. That's just their safety net, and they want that. And a lot of these commercial businesses have like maintenance packages where it's like you go to a dealership, and for X amount of month or X amount of dollars per month, you'll get the oil changes and the maintenance completely done. You hand them the vehicle. Next day or half a day later, whatever, you get the vehicle back. It's ready to go for another 5,000 miles, whatever. I think a lot of owners are going to definitely be buying this one as far. This is just unique though, Rivian, just because they're so outdoorsy, like I said, and you're paying a premium too. I would definitely get this one. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love Rivian, especially the R1S. It's just in this price point, it's not the greatest. So yeah, guys, this is basically the end of this video. Like I said, I'm looking forward to getting the Lariat Premium plus the Blue Cruise. I'm looking forward to getting at least the tax credit as well. So that'll bring it down to 70. A lot of owners are paying, you know, especially Lariat, they're paying up to like $1,000, $1,100 a month for their internal combustion engine truck. And jumping just a little bit more for this monthly payment, I don't think it's going to bother them too much.